I mean, look, all these electric charging points, which is a lovely idea, but once again, electric cars, was it £44,000 for an electric car? Can't afford one. Charging point, well, even although I live in a relatively nice house, there's nowhere that I could charge a car. It'd be on the street. Once again, that would be detached from my house. There'd probably be cruel people who'd find it amusing to unplug the charger. So I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, that's a great incentive, but most people haven't got an electric car either.
And I agree with you. The government themselves should not be the ones installing these chargers. It should be left to private enterprise like BP in what they've said they're going to do.
Yeah, but that's great. Even if BP do that, though, that doesn't really, so what? I'd rather see them pay a windfall tax to reduce what I'm paying in tax or to even give me some money back. Rather than them giving some money so that I can go out and buy a £44,000 electric car, and then eventually that's very kind of them to allow me to then charge that vehicle, and the electricity is probably made through maybe the fossil fuel that's provided from them.
Well, you get a sugar rush of short-term tax from that, but what you do is kill investment in the North Sea, and the consequence of that would be to keep petrol prices high, and the people who would most suffer from that are the working people who are driving vans,
but they're not going to bring the prices down anyway.
Taxi drivers.
They're not bringing the prices down anyway, and in fact, that 5p reduction in at the pumps for the general punter hasn't yet gone out in many petrol stations because they're saying that it will take time for that to filter through and that they don't have any control of the price and all this. So there seems to be a barrier for that as well.
I mean, to be fair to them, that is actually true.
I don't doubt it is, but what I'm saying
somewhere
is
between 2 weeks to 4 weeks for things to filter through from the oil price and tax changes. Now, good PR for them would have been to have done it faster, but it is a competitive market. This has been investigated quite a lot, and when people say that these companies are collaborating to try and keep prices high, there's never been any evidence that's true.
So there's no cartel?
There's no cartel, no.
Interesting, because you never get one where the prices... So they've obviously got very little control of it. So it seems quite odd that Rishi Sunak thought that he would say, well, that's going to start from 6 o'clock today, which obviously on the day he announced it. Surely he would know that.
He could have handled it a bit better and set expectations a little bit lighter on when the change would happen. But at the moment, we're still seeing the impact of the high oil prices that were about 2 weeks ago, which happily are coming down a bit and bumping around. But we should expect oil prices and gas prices to be lower in the medium term, because that's what the future markets are saying.
So in terms of saving on people's energy bills, then, how in your view, how much money do you think people could start to try and save on the bills? I mean, they're going up exponentially, so it's almost impossible, isn't it?
I mean, this year it's going to be really tough, and because we don't have a real market for the price of energy at the moment, we've got the energy price cap. Nothing is going to change until October, and when October comes, we're expecting things to go up even further, but we don't yet know by how much because of the way things are volatile at the moment. Now, the first thing the government should be doing in order to try and get those prices down is increasing supply. The only way it can do that this year is by changing sources of imports. So Europe is overly reliant on Russian gas, a little bit less so on oil, and it's now doing deals with, for example, America today to get American shale gas into the EU system, from which we will benefit as well. So that's the first thing to do. The second is domestic supply. So they've really got to get a rocket underneath the North Sea, and also with domestic fracking.